we've talked about how Payne has played really well. I think Kinlaw's been a hit.
He's been great. Scotty Abraham and all the guys that are there, women, locker room access. Scott posted a video and I retweeted it yesterday. Kinlaw seems like a cool dude, man. Yeah. And he was asked specifically about Payne, and he talked about how coming from the South or whatever, he grew up watching him in Alabama. Yeah. He's always been a huge fan of his, and that he just wants to play at his level. And he's just so grateful to be here. Like, he just seems like a really good dude.
He looked like he had, I can't vouch for this. Looked like he had a giant lipper in.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
You know what he likes to do? He likes to drop F-bombs to the media.
Oh, he does? That's his thing?
Yeah.
Well, he likes the media. He actually even said, even you guys are great. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. He's
I didn't see it.
No, it's just locker room stuff. Yeah. And Abraham and those guys have their mics, and Scott's just asking him a few questions. And he's like, what is it about being here in DC? And he's like, honestly, he's like, mentions the brotherhood essentially, and that all these guys are great guys, and the coaching staff's great. He said, honestly, even you guys are great. It's just, and Scott said, well, how does that impact you? He goes, I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to show up. I don't, he doesn't have to worry about locker stuff or media stuff. Just go out there and ball.
He's an easy guy.
What a great environment.
He's an easy guy to root for too, because he was homeless for part of his, his youth. Like, he was here in D.C. for part of his upbringing. Like, he's got local ties.
Wasn't he born in the islands?
I think he was born somewhere in the Caribbean. I'm not 100% sure.
Somewhere down
there.
But
he's an easy guy to root for. Like, that's a guy that came from literally nothing and has turned himself into one of the better defensive tackles in the league.
And he's just a humongous human being.
He's a monstrous
and that's what they needed.
Person.
Yes, they needed
they lose Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
They sign Kinlaw. And Kinlaw is going to be mostly a space eater. He's not going to have 15 sacks and have any sexy numbers.
That's not why they signed him.
But with Deron Payne playing like he is and Kinlaw playing like he has, I think that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, they're getting exactly what they wanted from the defensive line. And heck, you're getting more than what you expected out of Dorrance Armstrong.
Oh,
totally.
That's looking like a great signing by Peters.
Totally.
And you sign him away from a division rival, which certainly helps.
And so this week will be a test for that revamped defensive line as you face Bijan, because it's all about stopping Saquon, in my mind, to get to the next level, which is to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this will be.
You have to find a way to stop the run. They couldn't do it last year.
I think this will be a good litmus test because Gentry may end up being a stud, but he got off to a slow start probably because of the pieces around him. Bijan, though, proven, how versatile and powerful he can be. If they can, look, they're not going to stop him, but if they can minimize his impact, then you can feel pretty comfortable that this is probably who they are defensively.
The defense is flirting with top 10 in rushing yards allowed. They're 12th.
Yeah.
And from where they came from last year, being 30th or 31st, I think is where they ended.
Incredible.
Like, they were just getting gashed in the run game all the time.
I mean, he's going to get
it's a market improvement.
He's going to get his in all likelihood, but just hopefully it's not too many.
You just need to mitigate him as much as you can.
Yeah.
If you can somehow keep Bijan Robinson around 100 rushing and receiving yards combined in the game,
is that going to be good enough, you think?
I just think that you're doing a pretty good job at containing him. Because that's how dynamic of a player he is.
He's going to touch the ball a bunch.
As he should.
He is.
Look, if you're coming off a 30-0 just blasting by a division opponent like they are, I'd get the ball in my best player's hands as much as I could.
Of course.
That's my priority number one. Is Bijan touches.
So last season when they played him, which Washington won 30-24, Bijan had 17 carries for 90 yards, averaged 5.3 yards per carry, had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's scary.
What did he do in the receiving game?
He only caught 3 balls for 8 yards.
Okay, so he had right around 100.
He had 20
yards.
He had 20 touches.
Total.
Yeah, but he had 2 touchdowns. He counted for 14 points himself.
Yeah. I think he's going to have 24 to 26 touches between rushing and receiving.
And yet you think the Skins are going to win handily. You're very going to win handily.
I don't know that they're going to win handily because, look, it's a road game against an opponent that's coming off humiliating. I think that the Commanders are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be an easy victory.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to win. I don't think you're going to win by 14 points.
Not going to be like the Raider game.
It's going to be tight. No, it's not going to be.
No, I don't foresee that.
We're not going to come back here and talk about how great offense, defense, and special teams was.
I think it's possible.
It rarely happens.
I think it's possible. Look, Atlanta's coming off a 30-0 loss to Carolina, and they seem to have some disarray. They're moving coaches around. They're firing coaches. There's talk about the quarterbacks not getting along. Kirk Cousins filled in last week. That could be a team. It could be a team where a coach loses the team and they just tank, because that happens.
Yeah, they could be teetering on the edge right now as we speak.
Like, good for them. They beat the Vikings, and J.J. McCarthy had like 10 completions week 2.
I just think it's more likely they're going to bounce back than bottom out.
Usually you see teams when they get completely
they are professional
pummeled like that. They usually bounce back, now, especially if it's home.
In that win against the Vikings, all right, J.J. McCarthy had 2 interceptions. He had a QBR of 5.9 in that game. Now, maybe you credit Atlanta's defense, but what I want to say is it's not like the Falcons were great that day. Michael Penix, who's their starting quarterback for now, had 13 completions for 135 yards. Now, Bijan had a big day. He ran for $143 against them, but that's their one win. Now, they had a close game against Tampa in week 1, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that this team is going to bounce back, because sometimes teams go south.
So listen to this. This is crazy. When you actually look, now a lot of these are rest, but in terms of who participated yesterday and like the injury report for yesterday for the Skins.
It's long.
Oh my, I've never seen it. Now, 4 of them are just for rest. So Tunsil took a rest day. Payne took a rest day. Von Miller, right? Veteran rest days.
Yeah.
The vets got their rest days. Zach Ertz. But then you got Colson Yankoff. He's got an ankle, but full participant. Jaden limited. Trey Amos with the calf limited. Terry did not participate. Obviously, finding a sec. They added Bill.
Knee.
Ja'Cory Croskey-Merritt got a knee. Did not participate. They think it's minor, but still. Percy Butler got a hip. Did not participate. Noah Brown, still with the groin and the knee, did not participate. He ain't playing.
I wouldn't expect him to play.
John Bates, the calf groin, did not participate. I don't think he's playing.
He's probably a long shot, too.
Now, the good news is, did Baldy also, or no, some of these other, like the PFF guys, they were raving about what Sinnott did. Mark Bullock and those guys. I don't know if he works for PFF anymore or where he works, but they were saying Sinnott had his best game as a pro.
He had
clearly as a blocker.
I believe he had a higher rating than Debo.
Oh yeah, Debo was like, his rating is kind of middling.
Well, not like people saying they had the drops.
It's the drops. I think he's getting penalized.
But Debo had a better game than Sinnott. Hello.
I agree with you, but just when they look at it on a play-by-play basis, he's grading high.
I don't put any stock into that.
Yeah, you don't have to, but it's good for Sinnott.
Do you care about a winning streak against the Falcons? This is the 5th straight season that Washington and Atlanta will play.
Really?
Yeah.
Which, it's kind of freaky.
Is it
so 5 straight seasons that Washington and Atlanta will play.
Are they 4-0?
Washington is looking to extend a 4-game winning streak.
Right. Because Cakes, why?
This is your line, not mine.
They're the Falcons.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you should be better than them. Now, you know how dumb people are? This is how dumb a certain percentage of people are. Usually it's the HTTC diehards. We'll get a win over like a Lions or a Falcons, and I'll say at the end, I'll just type they're the Falcons.
Yep.
And then they'll go, oh, why you have to they think I'm minimizing. I'm not minimizing the win. I'm mocking the opponent.
Yeah, you're minimizing the other franchise.
Yeah, I'm mocking the other opponent. I'm not mocking our win.
How many Lombardi trophies do the Falcons have?
As many as you have.
I know.
Right.
0. Zippy.
That's kind of an important number for me. I have. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to say no respect. Very little regard for you if you've never hoisted a Lombardi.
Falcons have the same number as the dumb Lions. 0.
Right.
Bills. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that have 0.
Yeah. That's right. The Bills, you still got to have respect for
teams.
them. Yeah, Bills, you got to have respect for. But
you can kind of goof on them for being gaggers in the playoffs.
I'm not saying that the Falcons are going to bounce back and win. I don't think they win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not going to get.
But they're going to play a lot better than they did Sunday.
I think so.
I would think so, but I could still see Washington winning by a couple touchdowns.
Well, if we get back to our 30 burger ways,
In 2 of the games, they've been over 400 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm.
I know they didn't convert in the Giants game. Jaden wasn't firing on all cylinders. He looked a little off, but they still had 400 yards of offense.
We're kind of sleeping on Deebo Samuel homecoming game narrative. He's from Inman, South Carolina, 3 hours away from Atlanta.
That's a stretch.
How's that a stretch? He's from that region of the country.
From the region, yeah.
It's not a stretch at all.
I know that people. I know that
a stretch?
Homecoming, okay.
What is your... Okay, so 3 hours.
3 hours.
What if it was
3 hours
4
by
hours?
car.
All right, so it's a Kinlaw. It's a
minutes.
Kinlaw homecoming too.
Kinlaw. Oh, because he went to South Carolina?
Well, he went to high school in South Carolina. Went to South Carolina. Yeah.
It's a double homecoming game narrative. You guys sleep.
Yeah.
You guys sleep on these little nuggets.
Yeah, it's homecoming.
And Debo's going to get 100 targets because there's going to be no Terry. So that too.
I got to ask Dave if I'm playing Debo in my league.
Yeah, but you got to remember the other part of not having Terry is they can pay more attention to Debo.
Understood.
Right? So if they're doubling Terry at certain stretches, they can...
Well, that's where we need Luke McCaffrey to pop off and have another big game.
I agree.
Jalen Lane, somebody else's step.
I agree, but it
void.
might take away from some of the Debo impact.
That's fine. That's why we need Cliff to go into his bag and draw up a bunch of new stuff that the Falcons haven't seen yet.
Right.
They need to run the football like they did last week. When they win, it's because they run the football for nearly 200 yards.
Hopefully that happens again.
Yep.
Actually, in both the games they won, they've run for over 200 yards. That's their formula. They're a running team.
Yeah, Falcons they should be embarrassed by losing 30-0. They should have done what the Killer and Red Dragon did and smashed all the mirrors in their locker room because they're ashamed of looking at themselves. That's a horrible loss.
Well, that's why
them.
you're going to get. That's why you're going to get a pissed off team with something to prove.
Sure.
You know,
well,
they're going to get their best effort.
They can be pissed, but if they can't score points, it's going to be tough for them to win.
I think they're going to score some points. But we'll see.
I thought they'd score points last week against Carolina, but they couldn't. So we'll see.
One.
Not a single point. Not even a field goal. God, they were terrible.
That's just embarrassing.
By the way, you noticed that they did not bring in a kicker.
The Commanders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, you had said they were going to bring in kickers.
They have other fish to fry. Their quarterback and their top receiver are probably out this weekend.
Okay.
You know, Matt Gay's getting a pass. Getting a pass because everything else is happening.
All right.
All the other nonsense. All right, coming up later, Dave Richard will join us. That's at 8, so get your Week 4 fantasy football questions ready for him. He joins us at 8 o'clock here on The Fan.